Thanks again for watching, everybody. This is Ike Zim coming back at you with a new video review / overview for one of my custom, my original creation transforming Lego designs. This latest one, as you can see, is a wolf, and his name is WireWolf. He'd be a character that is on the quote-unquote Autobot side of things. And he's the first of two animal-styled Autobots that I'll be showing you guys. WireWolf here is a little bit of an older design of mine, but one that has been revised many times, and I'm reasonably happy with it the way it is now. As you can see, he's predominantly gray with some white accents, looking to be kind of an Arctic wolf. The name is clearly a play on like dire wolf, werewolf, wires. I think it's fitting for a transformer of this stature. Reminds me a lot of like a Beast Wars character. In his wolf mode here, he is fully articulated. You can see he's got this wolf head from a Chima set that is on a neck with a joint right there and a joint up here. I can get a lot of variance in posing out of this guy. He can get into all sorts of cool poses. He can be crouched down. He can do a howling pose. We can even get him kind of hunched down more on his hind legs with his front legs holding him up and howling. I'll adjust a little bit so you can see that. So I think that's a pretty cool look. As well, his legs are completely articulated. We've got movement at the up in the upper leg in the front, as well as in the lower leg, and the claws can move all individually. The back leg, same thing. We've got this movement here. The knee can move. What would be the ankle on us humans can move here, and the toes are all individually articulated, as well as the tail is articulated. As far as details go, I like all the kind of electric blue that peeks through on his wolf mode. It's also where the WireWolf name came from. I almost imagine him being like a digital werewolf sort of thing. And so he's definitely a relentless attacker, one of the juggernauts of my Autobot team. Now his transformation, which we'll get to here, is a little bit different from some of my other ones. This is more my old style, where they explode out into a whole bunch of parts and then come back, fold back together. Now, the only things that detach are still the weapons, but you'll see when we get into it. One thing that I'm not the happiest with on this design is that nothing really tabs into place. You see, like, all this stuff holds here pretty well. I can shake him. He's staying together, as long as it's not too vigorous, but none of his panels really tab together. You'll see these are just ball joints. This is just loose. That can fold up. These can fold all out of place. Overall, I think it's an okay construction. He definitely looks nice for posing, but I kind of hold myself to the standard that it needs to be playable, and it needs to hold up in both modes. So he doesn't score quite as high there. Anyway, we'll get into transformation here. It's always a little bit tough to figure out where to start with on this guy, but I think that we'll make his robot mode legs first. So, in order to do this, I'm going to back out the camera so that we have a little bit of a better view. This guy's also significantly larger than a lot of my others, so this will be interesting to videotape. Now let's see. First what we're going to do is we'll turn him around, take a look at his wolf behind. I'm just going to fold his rear legs out, get him out of the way, and then we're going to come up to the top, and I'm going to lift up all these panels that kind of hide his back. And now you can see right in here, see that blue pin that's got this little Technic piece here? This piece attached to the ball joint is going to pull away from that and just pop right off and pull back. Same thing on the other side, pop off and pull back. We'll fold these away down to the bottom, and now we're going to turn him and we'll come down to his underside. Let's see here. Do some more adjusting here while I film this. So now on the underside, we can grab his tail, and you see these two little white spikes in here? Those are actually attached to the same armature the tail is on. And we pull that right off of there. That is plugged up into this black bionicle body piece right here. It's plugged into the axle hole in the center, and it comes out and gives us this bit here. Now my rule, as I'm sure you guys have seen in the other videos, is that the only things that can detach from these guys are their weapons. So this is going to end up being WireWolf's energy cutlass once he's in robot mode. We'll set that off for right now. We'll come around and we'll keep working on the legs. So we're going to take WireWolf, we're going to look at his underside, and we can see that there are a couple of Hero Factory and Modern Bionicle feet sticking out of his bottom, kind of creating his beast mode chest. They are pinned into this black ball joint piece right here. We'll pull them right off. And on this guy, I'll just show off really quick. I really like to do this to make it a little bit easier to transform and tell where things go. Notice that I use, instead of just a regular 3-length axle going through here to plug into there, I use one with a stud on the end, so that when I yank on this foot, the only part that's coming out is that. If I use just a regular 3-long axle, the axle could get left behind, this could come apart in 3 pieces, that just wouldn't be convenient for transformation at all. So, we'll pull those out, we'll flip them over, and then these big long tentacle-y things and these here are going to combine together to make his robot mode legs. So we'll pull the parts that were attached to his back, that kind of formed his behind, into the inside, and then we're going to take and fold these down at a right angle, the outer legs down at a right angle. You can see this blue axle pin is going to plug into the pinhole on the back of the center of the inner leg. Plug that. We'll do the same on the other side. Oh, some tight tolerances, so sometimes the armor pops off. We'll see if we can avoid that happening too many other times throughout the video here. There we go. And then that loose axle that we were using to plug the foot into the chest of the wolf will attach into this other ball joint piece to make his ankles. And now, as you can see, that's a pretty good looking pair of legs right there. Now let's work on the rest. So, the majority of his transformation is that the front of the wolf and the back of the wolf are attached to one singular bionicle body piece, and they're going to kind of clamshell up together. So we have to get them ready to do that. We'll prepare the front of the wolf first. So we're going to take and unfold that piece that the outside of the legs was attached to in wolf mode, and we're going to fold up. You can see on this ball joint right here, fold up like so, and then we can take that piece that the feet were attached to and fold it down and plug it into the lowest hole on this little waist piece right here. Plug that in. That's going to give him some stability in his waist area. It does stop him from having a waist rotation, but it's definitely necessary to hold it together. Almost all of his mass is going to be up on top. Now we're going to take the wolf head, and this elbow piece that's in here we need to flip around 180 degrees, and then also turn the wolf head 180 degrees. This way we can get it all compacted together. You can see how it really, the wolf head slides well into those old prog-rock hand weapon pieces, and that'll fold up against his belly here. We're going pretty good. Now we're going to take these large white armor pieces that were on his back and position them, turn them around. Take them, turn them around. Those will go away in just a second here. Now we're going to take the front paws and we'll get them ready. So, the way that we do this is we're going to take and fold the shoulder of the wolf mode leg down, and then at a right angle we'll position it the next joint. Boom. And that joint has a little axle connector on it, and this is where I kind of start to bend the rules of Lego, and bend them literally. We're going to take and attach this axle connector to this exposed gray axle right here. And it takes a little bit of finagling to get. First one goes on easy. Now it's the second side. Let's get it all positioned. Get it positioned here. Put it that right angle. Move this armor out of the way. And now you can kind of, it's a little tough to see, but this one that we connected the first time is now angling this whole deal. So we're going to have to kind of force the other side on. And it will go. It just ends up, it's a little tough to tell. I'm going to pop these pieces off here really quick just so you can see it. This is why I will not be able to submit a creation like this for something like Lego Ideas. Those pieces, where my thumbs are being bent significantly. Over time, I know that this will break these pieces. But for the sake of this model, I mean, this isn't something for little children to play with or anything. This is just something for me and my friends to have fun with. I think it works just fine. So I'll plug those back on. Chest is starting to come together now. You can also see this is a little bit more involved a transformation than some of my other ones. I hadn't quite figured out how to streamline things yet. Now we need to do something about these wolf paws. So they're going to fold up. I love these big Hero Factory Chima hand pieces because the claws just fold perfectly up into them. We'll fold all that, and then we're going to take them and we'll turn them around. Oh, sorry, that's off camera. We'll fold them down, turn them, so that they are going to become kind of chest armor implements. We'll get them positioned the rest of the way once we have everything else together. So now that that's all together, we can bring up the back half and assemble the rest of the robot. So, these gray bits of fur that were on the wolf's shoulders, we're just going to try to flatten out as much as we can to make as much space for the back of the robot to come up. We'll fold out the head, which was just stashed in the back. And now you can see here where these two pieces that held together the interior of the legs are. We'll fold them out to make clearance. And then we'll fold up this whole assembly. Now we fold that all up. And we kind of move the shoulders up and out of the way. And as that folds up, these light blue pieces, these transparent blue pieces with the gray fur on them are going to fold in and help to lock that back piece together. So that's all there. Bingo. Now we can turn him back around and fold the shoulders a little bit out of the way. He's so big, it's tough to keep him on camera all the time. And now we take these big armor pieces that we flipped around earlier and we fold them onto his back to fill in the neck area and to give them somewhere to sit out of the way. So now we just need to do a little bit of some minor transformation, and he will be done. We're going to transform the arms next. We'll come around here, we'll position the shoulder stalks, and fold out all these trans blue claws to give him some shoulder detail. And then we'll straighten the bicep, straighten out the lower arm, fold the claw back, fold out the hand, and now we're going to take and fold all these claws up just like we did with the front paw. Fold them up, and then we take this whole thing and rotate it around. Oh, sorry, we have to rotate it before we fold the claws, because they are getting in the way. Rotate. See that red ball joint it's on? I'm going to set him down, make this a little bit easier to do. We rotate that around. There we go. And then we can fold up the claws. Fold, 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 and it'll all tuck together in a nice compact package. And I like to turn it around to the side so that it has more impact. There we can see one completed arm. Okay, we'll do the same for the other side. Let's see if I can videotape this one a little bit better. So shoulder, fold up all the claws, give him that nice shoulder, spiky shoulder detail. Straighten out the bicep area. Straighten that out. Straighten this out. Rotate the paw backwards. Fold in all the claws. And fold it all up. Turn it 90 degrees to the side. Boom. Now, we just need to do some cleaning up. So, these big side patches, these big gray pieces of armor, we're going to fold them forward and then twist them around, and they will just sort of sit up against the front of the robot mode like so. There we go. And then these we just take and position. Let's see here. I'm missing something with these. They are just going to kind of sit up and fill in his shoulder area a little bit more. And this is, again, you can see things don't really lock in too well. We just kind of find a place for them to go that looks nice and call it good. I think actually I like them a little bit more sticking out to the sides. So after all of that mess, he's finally transformed. We can put his cutlass in his hand. You can see that this top axle goes right into the hand there, and then this bottom one on a 3 long length axle just bends around that elbow joint and in there. I like this because it gives him kind of a guard for his hand. And now let's get him all stood up. Stood up, and we'll pan the camera, get a good angle. There is WireWolf in his robot mode. He's very tall in his robot mode. Here, let's pull in his Autobot companion downforce here for some size comparison. So you guys can see just how much taller he is than most of my other figures. Downforce is a little worse for wear, so I'm getting him set. There we go. There he is next to Downforce, who doesn't even come up to his shoulder. There's Downforce with him. And here's my other figure I've reviewed so far. Obliterator. Also barely stands to his shoulder. As far as other perspective, I wanted to do this in the past videos, but just couldn't find a minifig. However, I did find my old classic minifig. That's how big he is compared to a minifigure, so definitely a pretty sizable robot. We'll go over articulation and details here. Let's see. Bring him up into view. There's the head. I don't remember which Bionicle set this mask is from, but it's definitely from an older Bionicle set. He's got full neck articulation, really a lot of neck articulation because of the transformation. He can look all the way up, he can look down quite a ways, so I quite like that. He's got very good articulation in the arms too. This shoulder can raise up quite high. He's got a bend up here at the bicep, which I use to kind of assist with elbow poses. You can see that you can get more of a curl that way. He's got a more traditional elbow down below, and then these Hero Factory Bionicle hands that are on ball joints. The legs are where I'm really happy. He has so much top mass that he needed something really stable to hold him up, so I had to make a double leg. And what I've done here is I've made a double leg that is still able to do almost all of its articulation. So they can split about that far. He has limited forward movement, but some forward movement, some little bit more backward movement, it looks like. This long knee section that he has here, he can bend there, or he can bend below it, so kind of a double jointed knee effect. And then he's got these ankles, and you can see that the whole thing is allowed to kind of wiggle around, which is really good for getting into poses. Let's see if I can get him to hold a more dynamic pose. So you can, oh, there he goes. Just a little bit too top heavy. Let's try again. I bet you he'll stay. There we go. Split legs, arms raised, still holding up all that mass. And I mean, really, I'd say a good 2/3 of that wolf ends up in the upper body. Just details become his legs. So I'm pretty satisfied with that. I like how menacing he looks in this mode. I really don't think he needed a gun weapon or anything. I like to imagine that he can like send an energy slash with his sword there. So that just about does it for WireWolf here. The third of my posted videos for my Lego Transformer MOCs. I hope the people out there are liking these. I have wanted to share them for quite some time and just never thought that anybody else would really be interested. But the little bit of interest that has been shown already, I so appreciate, guys. If there's any questions or comments, if you have any critiques for my video making or for my techniques that I use in creating these, I know that I always have more space to get better. So feel free to leave a comment, like, subscribe, anything like that. I plan on putting a bunch more videos here, so really thanks for all the viewership, guys. We'll catch you next time.